Most home buyers don't get tripped up by numbers. They get tripped up by short-sighted thinking. Today, we're tackling 4 mindset traps and the psychological biases behind them. Welcome to Money Shape Up. I'm Dr. Linda Hamilton, author of Pay It in 5. We paid our home loan off in 5 years. This is part 2 of our 5-part series on 16 costly mistakes by home buyers. 4 mindset traps can quietly drain your finances, can lock you into the wrong home and distract you with shiny finishes. These aren't your usual buy within your means tips. Instead, we'll be diving into what really derails people, whether you're buying your first home or your forever home. Avoiding these can help you save time and money. Let's set you up to buy smarter, to save more and to avoid regret. Mistake number 1, underestimating the true cost of buying property. Buying a home is one of the biggest purchases of your life, and surprises aren't very fun when they cost you thousands of dollars. We've been through them, that's why I'm sharing them here so that you don't make the same mistakes we did. Buying property comes with a number of surprising hidden costs, and ignoring these can leave you short, stressed, or in real financial trouble. The main psychological trap that trips up buyers here is the planning fallacy. The planning fallacy is our tendency to underestimate the time, the cost, and the complexity of a future task, even when we know better. We end up focusing on the ideal scenario and not reality. In home buying, this shows up as, let's just get the property and figure it out later. This leads us to think that the only costs involved are a deposit and the home loan, and we forget about all the other costs like stamp duty, mortgage insurance, the cost of moving, furniture, and other fees. When you fall in love with a property that you just have to have, your brain doesn't think about all of the extra costs or all the other things that could come into it. You just want that property. When you know what you're really in for, when those extra costs do come up, you won't be stressed or in financial trouble. Set yourself up. You'll factor in all your costs, you'll give yourself a buffer, and it means you won't be scrambling when it comes to buying. I created my own buying budget calculator so you can list out all of the costs so that you know what you're in for when you're buying property, and you can plan it out the smart way. Use the calculator to set yourself a buying budget so that you know all the costs that you're in for before you buy. It's free and the link is in the description. Mistake number 2, ignoring lifestyle changes. You've planned for your home loan, but have you planned for your life? What happens when your income drops, your family grows, or your job changes? A lot of home buyers and first home buyers are so focused on getting the property and getting into a property that they forget to ask, well, will this still work for me in 5 to 10 years' time? Will I still want to live here? This mistake is all about forgetting to future-proof your property decision. The present bias is at play here. We think about what we want now and we forget about what our long-term future might look like. We've got an urge to secure the deal, to win the bid, to move in fast, and we forget to step back and think about, will this still work for us in a few years' time? If life happens, and sometimes it does, you could outgrow the property. You might end up struggling financially, or you could even be forced to sell. When buying a property, think past the next 12 months. What might my life look like in about 10 years' time? Sometimes the best property decisions are not just about what's affordable today, but about what still makes sense tomorrow. Plan before you buy. If you want to know the most important first question to ask yourself before you buy, watch this video. Mistake number 3, buying the forever home. Think your first home has to be your forever home? That mindset could be the thing that is stopping you from getting into the market or pushing you to take on way too much debt. One of the most common traps that first home buyers tend to fall into is thinking that their first home has to be their forever home. That means ticking every box: the dream kitchen, the perfect suburb, and the big backyard for future kids. But here's the catch. Aiming for that perfect property can push you into overextending your home loan and taking out more than you need to just to secure the home that you have to have. This could be due to all or nothing thinking that you've got to have your dream home and your forever home, or otherwise, why bother? This kind of thinking creates unrealistic expectations and adds pressure to buy the most expensive house you could possibly afford. One of the biggest mistakes first home buyers make is misunderstanding the meaning of a first home. First means something that comes before something else, and home is a place in which somebody lives. In buying a first home, there's an assumption that you're going to move on to buy another property later. And instead of moving forward, you end up in a property that you're stuck in. Or worse, you could end up broke. Your first home does not have to be your forever home. It's okay to buy a property that's a stepping stone. It doesn't have to be the perfect house. When you see it as a stepping stone, as something that you're not going to live in forever, then you'll buy something that you only want to be in for a short amount of time. And you'll buy something that's cheaper that you can move on from faster. When we purchased our first property, we knew we wanted to pay it off in 5 years. We knew it was a stepping stone house so that we could buy our next property sooner. When we did this, we saved ourselves hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we were able to buy and secure a second property pretty quickly and still keep the first. It's easy to get caught up buying a forever home or competing with the Joneses. The good news is you don't have to. You don't have to buy the perfect house like everybody else is. Flip the script, buy something manageable, build equity, and move on faster. If you want to buy something that you can pay off in 5 to 10 years, we have a free calculator to help you figure out how much to borrow so that you can buy smarter. The link is in the description. Start where you can, build steadily, and move on faster than you would otherwise. Mistake number 4. Prioritizing the shiny over the solid. Stunning kitchen, designer tiles, fresh paint. Looks perfect, right? A huge mistake that property buyers make is getting distracted by the shiny objects. It's easy to fall in love with the finishes and forget to look under the surface. Here's what matters more than the styling: the structure, the layout, and the land. These are things that can't always be changed. But if you're not checking the layout, the structure, or the location, you could just be buying a beautifully wrapped problem. The main psychological trap that trips up buyers here is saliency is our tendency to focus on the most obvious or attention-grabbing features. So the things that stand out. In property, that usually means the visual stuff. The fresh paint, the shiny floors, and the trendy kitchen. These details are easy to remember and hijack your attention. What seems like a dream deal might actually be a money pit if you don't look under the surface. Because the shiny things are so loud, they drown out what's more important. Just because it looks good on the surface doesn't mean it's a good buy, and it could risk your enjoyment of the property and also on future resale value. Before you fall for the finishes, there are 2 things that you can think about. Number 1, ask yourself, if this had an ugly kitchen, would I still buy it? And number 2, ask yourself what would be impossible to fix or really costly. And think about the location. Is it noisy? Is it next to a school? Is it next to a field that gets used every weekend or weekend? Just because it looks good doesn't mean it's a good buy. Look for something solid over shiny. Remember, a place can be repainted and tiles can be swapped, but it's difficult to work with a bad layout and to fix problem issues like noisy neighborhood. Buying smarter starts with planning smarter. And because you've made it to the end, I have an exclusive offer for you. I launched Money Shape Up in 2025, and every month in 2025, I'm giving away a free copy of my book, Paid in 5. If you'd like to win a copy, click the link in the description.